Hello, beautiful people, and welcome to Vibe Check. It's happening on every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday.
Here with you, and let's just jump right into it. Things that have caught our eye this week. I'm going to start with DeWanna Bonner officially going to Phoenix. I thought this whole situation was just so interesting with her forcing her way out of Indiana, now going back to Phoenix, where basically it all started for her. 10 seasons with Phoenix, winning a championship there as well. But Drea, I mean, I want to bring you in on this because obviously you're so well versed in the W. Like, I love a little bit of drama. This feels like a lot of drama leading up to basically both parties being happy.
Well, that's the thing. It feels like a lot of drama, but we might not ever get answers because both sides just decided to almost be clean with it. Like, it's not like Indiana tried to hold on to DeWanna Bonner to trade for something else. Indiana waived her. DeWanna wanted out. And it's really interesting because DeWanna Bonner went to Indiana to be the veteran on that team. Yeah. She felt like she had a role. She felt like they had a really big need for her. But then early in the season, she was playing little minutes. Games were down to clutch time, and DeWanna Bonner was on the bench. And I'm not sure what else was going on for it to just be over. But I actually think it ended up working out for both sides.
Like that, it feels like a win-win-win.
It does.
In that sense, because they need her. She's joining a contender,
right?
And they need that kind of depth.
Yeah. Okay. The one thing I thought was crazy was DeWanna Bonner playing off the bench after the season that she had with the Connecticut Sun. I mean, anybody who has watched her play, I mean, DeWanna Bonner coming off the bench for the Fever just did not make any sense to me. But hey, if everybody wins in the end, then hey, I guess that's all that matters.
That's kind of my point. I mean, Indiana, they bring back Aari McDonald. They feel good about the team that they have. And really, when you talk about Phoenix being a contender, DeWanna Bonner's now back with Alyssa Thomas.
Yep.
That's her fiance. Lexi Held has been injured for the Phoenix Mercury, so it gives them more depth for Phoenix. They are absolutely a contender. They shoot a lot of threes. DeWanna Bonner fits right in.
Look, everybody's happy. That's all that matters. Molly, what caught your eye?
I'm happy this week because Wimbledon has been so exciting. It's such a unique sport. It's so British.
It is.
I
it's
love
so
all the
chic.
champagne.
It's so chic. It's so bougie. I'm not gonna lie. It's perfect for you. Wow. I knew you were gonna say that. I knew you were gonna say that.
It's been so much fun to watch. And American
You
Taylor
don't like
Fritz
me
is headed to
anymore.
the semifinals for the first time in his career. He lost in the
She needs a
quarterfinals
job.
twice in recent years, and he wrote himself kind of like a brutal message on his girlfriend's phone, kind of weird, but he wrote to himself how a little strange, but he wrote to himself how he's underachieving. He needs to get himself together, and it's something that I think he's looked at, and he's brought that self-motivation from within, and now he's the first American man to make it to the semifinals at Wimbledon since 2018 when John Isner did it. So love a comeback story.
Yeah.
Absolutely love that. And I also have to give a shout out to my home team, the San Francisco Giants, with a walk-off inside the park home run from Patrick Bailey.
Wow.
When do you see something like that?
Never, right.
If he hit it so far that any other park it would have been out, but he hit it like in the corner of the wall in San Francisco. That's the third time ever in history that a catcher has done that. So pretty cool. Electric stuff. That's why we love sports, right?
Yes.
We love the walk-off home runs.
Oh, yeah.
We love the buzzer beaters. We love the Hail Marys. Those kind of moments are what makes sports so special.
Just really quickly, I want to go back to Taylor Fritz. So he wrote himself a letter in like his girlfriend's phone. Was it like one of the notes app?
It was a couple of years ago, right?
It was in 2021. In like his notes app. He was frustrated on the bus, and she said, "Write it down, Lucy."
Wow, what a supportive lady. I love
Let
that.
it motivate you. I love that. One of the like oddball questions I ask players when I talk to them, just as like a way to open them up a little bit, is what's the lock screen on your phone?
Ooh.
Like, what do you look at every day? What's motivating you? And that's kind of like a lock screen moment where he had, I don't know, words basically demeaning himself.
Yeah. Hey, look, it got to where he is right now. Whatever works for you. Dre, what you got?
Well, you know, we do love a comeback story, and what I hope doesn't even have to be a comeback story is A'ja Wilson's injury. She's playing against the New York Liberty. She goes down, injures her right wrist. She shoots free throws, exits the game, doesn't play in the
we
second
watched
half.
this.
She comes back out, her wrist is taped up. She ends up getting an MRI.
Yesterday on.
She put out an incredible tweet that I really appreciated the next day after the MRI, and I have it right here. Let me see what she said. Nothing wakes you up like the sound of an MRI machine. Just want to say thank you for prayers. New York Liberty, thank you so much for the quick help and privacy. I truly appreciate it. To my squad, thank you for preventing my crash out. LOL. God has a plan that I'll
Well, in this, we'll talk about all women's sports, but you know, as a matter of fact,
story isn't necessarily needed because
we need all this,
that's my story right
and
now.
may gonna happen like in the WNBA and women's college basketball games coming up soon in November. That's what that
Yeah,
will
of course, also in a way,
eventually
the
gonna
crash
take a look
out.
at all
So
this.
this is something I love that she put that in her tweet, just preventing the crash out for her.
So as we watch this for a little bit, like for a while, then we will tune in for this.
Also, though, when you say
For the,
just to spin an Asia moment into positives, there are a lot of players in this league that look up to Asia Wilson.
Oh, yeah.
And two of them have really big things going on right now. So sending thoughts to Asia, but also
Yeah.
Angel Reese is releasing a signature shoe
Talk
with
about it.
Reebok.
Yes.
The Angel Reese 1, and the design of it's supposed to work on the court, but also in the street. Like, it's a shoe that you could possibly wear casually,
Yeah.
which we don't see that with basketball.
I know, and we were talking about that before the show. Is that like I was trying to think of like another basketball shoe outside of Jordans, like I have on right now,
Right.
that like you could actually wear outside, like on the street, like street style. And I'm thinking about it. I'm like, I don't think, especially for a woman, like a woman's shoe, like that you can wear like casually. And also, I have big feet. I'm wearing size 1, y'all. So like, I really want to get a pair of the A1s, but the way my feet are set up, it's
And
gonna
those are
look crazy.
Those are true basketball shoes, right?
Yeah.
Like, those are true hoop shoes, right? So Angel Reese, again, doing something different, doing something we haven't seen.
Yeah.
That's a huge moment for Angel Reese. And then also Kiki Iriafenton, another player inspired by Asia Wilson, just tied the double-double rookie record for the Washington Mystics. Tied Shanika Holdsclaw. So thoughts are with Angel, but players that look up to Angel, or thoughts are with Asia. But players that look up to Asia doing really big things in the league. So very excited for Angel Reese, very excited for Kiki Iriafenton.
I really love how Kiki Iriafenton is really fitting into the W as well.
Yes.
Like, I mean, it just feels seamless, Drea, the way that
Yeah.
she's kind of fitting with that Mystics team.
The Mystics have just taken me by surprise. I said on draft night that they won the draft when they drafted Georgia Amor, Kiki Iriafenton, and Sonia Citron. I thought that they won the draft, but this team, they're playing even better than I expected them to play. And Kiki
Especially
Iriafenton,
young talent.
Yeah.
they're the youngest team in the league.
Wow.
Kiki Iriafenton, Sonia Citron, both all-stars as rookies. They've got a lot of good things going on.
We'll be right back.
I actually wish I could tell my son that sleeping in the bed with me is illegal. 'Cause
Or maybe not.
I'm an 8+ hour girly.
Really?
8+.
I can do 6.
6?
Yeah,
I
when
can
I'm
do
traveling
6.
6
It's
and
tough.
5 in a pinch.
6.
During busy times of the year, like
Girl.
in the grind of football season, I'm like, all right, I need 5, and I need like a little under eye gels.
And a little bit of under eye
And
gel.
like a gua sha to the
That'll
yeah,
always
and then
do
I'm
it.
good.
That'll
I'm good.
always do it. Speaking of college football, a lot of changes happening in college football with the expansion, the playoffs. I mean, what's the future of college football looking like?
I think we're just now starting to see changes.
And now they're talking about the future of college football. So what we're gonna do right now
It
is
was so much fun, like basically a month of college football playoff games. And I met with the executive director of CFP, Rich Clark, about a couple weeks ago, and he said it's not a matter of if, but when it will continue to expand to 16 teams.
Wow.
I know.
Wow.
And so I'm trying to look at both sides of the coin, right? Like the positives and the negatives. The negatives is that are there really 16 teams that can
I'll answer
contend
no.
for a championship?
I'll answer no.
I would say maybe there should be like 8.
Yeah.
I think like the top 8 are teams that can actually play for a championship. The 15, 16 team, they're just happy to be there.
Right.
The positives of it is that it keeps people engaged throughout the regular season. The games matter more. Hey, my team has a chance to make it into the playoff, you know? And I think what the college football playoff is trying to emulate a little bit is a month of magic that we see in March. Like there is nothing like March Madness in the Cinderella stories, in that huge field of teams, all with a chance to win a title. They're trying to emulate that. I don't think it can be the same in college football. The parity is different. And I don't think you're going to see a Cinderella team like a group of 5 team knock off an SEC team in the college football playoff. But it does keep things interesting. But it just goes to show that like the model that we have with college basketball, in my opinion, is the best in sports.
I totally agree with that. I think the college basketball model is the best, but also just agreeing with your point in terms of like parity, right? Like I look at college football, I've covered college football, I've watched it forever. And, you know, when I'm looking at teams in the postseason, I know who's going to go far. And
Seeding was a little wacky last year, where it was the 4 conference champions got that automatic bye, and then they all played in the second round. They all lost, because they weren't the 4 best teams. Like the Big 12 champion isn't equal to, you know, the SEC and Big Ten teams. I'm sorry to say.
Right.
It's
No,
just
but
not.
you're totally right. The
It is
fans
what
don't want to
it
hear
is.
it, and
Yeah.
like people of different conferences don't want to hear it. But that's just the truth when you talk about college football.
Yeah.
Anyway, but that's on the topic of expansion, WNBA expansion teams.
Mhm.
A whole new frontier happening
Yeah.
on that side, Drea.
Yeah, and I'm excited. So I like the cities that they chose.
Yeah.
Right? We've seen a lot of success for Detroit when it comes to the WNBA. We've got Portland, we've got Toronto, we've got Cleveland, we've got Philly. To me, and maybe I'm biased because I'm from Atlanta.
Of
We have a
course.
team in Atlanta. We have a team in Dallas. But I do think the South and the Southeast, we're missing some teams. I know
Totally.
Nashville was interested in a team. Charlotte was interested in a team. I could see another team being in Texas. I'll be interested to see as the league continues to expand. Can we touch on more cities in the South? Like the East is covered. We've got some teams in the North. We've got a lot of teams out West. But as I look at the map, if we just pull up a map of W teams,
Yeah.
there are some gaps in the South.
Drea, you live in Atlanta.
Yeah.
And you've covered teams in the SEC. Like, you know the South
Yes.
very well. Isn't it different there?
Oh, yeah.
In terms of the
It's
fandom,
different.
in
So
terms of the
different.
buy-in.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I think a
Yep.
big part of it is a lot of these cities that don't have maybe an NBA team, like
Mhm.
Nashville. I know they have Memphis,
Mhm.
but Nashville doesn't have an NBA team.
Yeah.
Let's give them something to root for. Let's
Yeah.
get them basketball to watch, like on a, you know, on a weekend day to take their kids to. And
Yep.
I just think that they should target areas that have crazed fans and
Yep.
also maybe that don't necessarily have an NBA team.
Yeah.
Like you look at a team like Seattle.
Right.
I used to live in
Yeah.
Seattle. They are starved
Yep.
for an NBA team. So when the WNBA team came in, the whole city
It's
bought
all
in.
about it.
Because
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
wanted that.
Yeah.
They need that.
Yeah, and that makes me think about the time I went to school in South Carolina for 2 years, and I remember when I first got down there. Obviously, SEC football is absolutely everything, and as a New York girl, I came down there and I was like, "Whoa, y'all are crazy."
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah.
"There is a
Yeah,
lot."
it's
I was like,
different. It's
because you know, coming from
Yeah.
New York and coming from that market, we've got 2 football teams, we've got 2 basketball teams now. Like, there's everything in New York in that market. So I went down to South Carolina, and I'm just like, "Oh my gosh, like this is like a totally different type of feel when you talk about sports." But then also talking about South Carolina women's basketball.
Right.
I remember when I was down there, this is like 2010, when Dawn Staley was, I think it was like her second year down there in South Carolina. No one.
Yep.
Absolutely
Yes.
no. I like literally, I was up there, I was a student, I was filming all of the women's games. And you could literally hear a pin drop inside of Colonial Life Arena. And the way that it has evolved, you know that the fan base is down there in the South, like they absolutely want it. They want it. And I would be surprised actually if Charlotte didn't get a WNBA team because they had one before.
They had one before, the
Yeah.
Charlotte Sting. I think that could absolutely be a team that we end up seeing come back into the W. But Colonial Life Arena is unbelievable.
Oh, it's crazy.
For South Carolina women's basketball games,
Crazy.
it's insane. Baton Rouge, LSU, that arena
Oh, yeah.
is crazy. Those 2 places, 2 of the loudest arenas that I've been in for college basketball. I mean,
Yeah.
those fans go insane, which is why I'm like, oh, I wonder if New Orleans would ever be interested in a WNBA team.
I think they would
Right?
love it. That town would eat it up.
Oh yeah, no, they absolutely would.
Yeah.
Let's get to some faces of different sports. Molly, I want
Okay.
to start with you. College football, NFL. Who are you thinking are the faces of those leagues?
I think that college football is kind of changing a little bit, where you had the face of college football was a Nick Saban or a Jim
Oh, yeah.
Harbaugh. It was a coach. Hey, the power is in the hands of the players now.
Right.
Who are the people who are the highest paid? It's the players.
They're getting so much money.
They have all the power.
Yeah.
You have like 18-year-olds in Lamborghinis now.
That's insane.
Every team has a guy on the field whose job, he's like an equipment manager, his job is to wear all the chains.
Oh wow.
Because they all have these diamond chains. And
So
they don't
always
want to leave
all
them in the...
all the players diamond chains. Like he's just there. He's
This
like,
guy
okay,
is
I'm-
top heavy. He's like toppling over because he's wearing all these diamond chains. That's how much money these
Wow.
guys are making. So because of that, like
Gosh.
changing landscape, the players are now the face of
Yeah.
college football. And what better player than a legacy name like Manning
Of course.
at a school like Texas? So Arch Manning, the quarterback at Texas, he's unproven in a sense that we haven't seen him play very much, but with the name recognition, the brand recognition, the fact that Steve Sarkisian has a really good team coming back that's going to contend, and this is going to be the best wide receiver room that they've maybe had in Sark's tenure. I think that Arch Manning is set up for success. So when you look at college football, the faces of that sport are probably like the Heisman Trophy finalists.
Got you. Yeah. Well, let's go to some faces in WNBA. I feel like there's a little bit of drama and controversy when you talk about the face of the W.
Yeah, it's tricky when you talk about the face of the W because how do you define a face
Right.
of the league, right? To me, when I think
And
about
this
someone being the
vibe
face
check
of the
is
league,
sort of like
it
a
takes
talking
longevity to be the
show.
face of something, right?
It's
This is
almost
why in
just like
college sports,
the
I'm like,
Pat
it could have played
McAfee
a
show.
face in college sports because You're there for a short
That's
amount
my
of time
show
and
because I'm watching
it's
every
different
day.
Year.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh,
The
oh,
face
yeah,
of college
wait, did
football
they
can
just shoot
change
him on?
season
I
to
don't
season,
think
whereas I
so.
think the face in
Oh, yeah,
women's
that's
college
right. He's having a-
basketball,
oh,
you think of
yeah.
Josh Staley and Gina Maria. I still think of the coach.
Oh, it's like
yeah,
the
right?
Pat
So the face
McAfee
of the
show.
league changes. When I think of the face
Pat
of the
McAfee.
W, I think it's different than being the most popular
McAfee.
player or even the most exciting player in the W,
Pat
which is clearly
McAfee
Caitlin
show.
Clark. But when I think of the face of the league, I feel the same way about the NBA. I think the face of those two leagues
All right.
is the player that has been in it long enough to win championships and to understand what it means to succeed at the highest level in that league. So I still think of Asia Wilson as the face of the W. And this is why on the NBA side, I think we still think of LeBron or Steph Curry, those guys, even though there are very exciting players in the NBA that maybe haven't won a championship yet, right? Who is the face of the league? Now maybe people are talking about Shai Gilgeous-Alexander because he just won a championship. But to me, the face of the league is a champion. So I still think of Asia Wilson as the face of the league. She has her signature shoe. Her marketing is going crazy. She's won at the highest level. She's won 3 MVPs.
Come on.
So to me, I still think of Asia as the face of the league. But there still could be a player that is incredibly popular, is growing the game, and that's Caitlin. Now, Caitlin goes on to win a championship. I have her winning
That's a part
multiple
of the conversation.
MVPs.
Absolutely.
Then that could change.
I get into a lot of heated debates with people about like the face of the league in terms of the W, and I think that because there's a lot of hype around a Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese and a lot of the younger players who now you have a lot of these newer fans that are coming to watch the W, which is absolutely amazing, obviously for the sport and for the league and everything. But to not recognize that Asia Wilson is the face of the league, the best player in the league, and also just like super decorated as an athlete. It just, I go back and forth with people all day. It gets very heated,
But
very heated.
You're spot on. I take so many Ubers traveling for work, and I hear Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark all the time. That's all. That's all.
Which is
anyone
fine.
wants to
And I
do.
mean,
It's
which is
amazing.
fine. But
I
there's
love
a
it.
difference
Yeah.
between being the face of the league and being popular among just fans and also casual fans as well.
Yeah, for sure. And it's how you define it.
We'll be right back on the other side.